Hey, real estate hustlers, welcome to episode 6 of The Real Estate Hustle, where we don't just stand around, we make things happen. This is a podcast all about everything to improve your real estate career. We are broadcasting right now on Facebook Live from our studio here in Rexburg, Idaho. And once again, it's another cold day, just like all 9 months of our winter.
Why are we surprised?
That's right. Make sure to join our private Facebook group to view the live stream every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time by searching Real Estate Hustle on Facebook. We'll get you added into that group. Our show today is brought to you by the Real Estate Hustle Academy. The Real Estate Hustle Academy is a very hands-on group instruction boot camp to jumpstart your real estate career, to improve your career, or to break through any plateau that you may be having in your career. Stay tuned for more information about upcoming enrollment. And today we're here in our studio with the one, the only, Mr. Travis Greene.
That's right. Hello.
Greg Boudousquie. And today we are being joined by Mr. Bob Canning. And we are very grateful for everybody who puts in the help to make these podcasts happen. Every single week, we learn that these are difficult to do sometimes. So anyway.
But we're glad to be here.
We absolutely are. And we hope that everybody has had, all of our real estate hustlers have had a great week this week. And Travis, what's new with you? Anything?
You know, just a great day. Great to be here. Winter is upon us. It's coming.
Sure is.
The holidays are coming. We're excited about that. You know, I don't know if you noticed on Main Street, they're already putting up the wreaths and stuff.
I saw them stringing Christmas lights.
That happened today. So It's coming, but it's a good day. Real estate's good. Home sales are consistent. They're continuing even through the fall here for us. So we're excited about that. A lot of encouragement in the air. And I think we're just set up for a good winter and a great spring when that time comes.
Awesome. Love it. Well, guys, we want to give as much time to Bob as we can today. He's got some really cool stuff to talk about. But first, it is time for our weekly trivia game with our Facebook Live viewers. So we have a chance to win a prize this week. So Travis, what's our competition for today?
Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We have 3 questions, and we're going to ask. And here's what you need to do. You have until the end of the show to answer them. So you don't need to pop in right now. You have the end of the show to answer these, but you're going to want to be the first person to correctly answer them because we have a prize.
We do. Yeah. And what's today's prize?
You know, today's prize is going to be this. We are either going to send the winner a $10 gift card to Amazon, or better yet, we're going to order you pizza for lunch tomorrow, wherever you are.
Awesome. Even Shane Sterling in Australia.
I don't know how the conversion works on that.
We'll figure that one out.
But we'll work that out.
Well, I'd probably pick pizza for sure.
Yeah, so, I would.
Only because I'm addicted to food. But
so great competition coming up. So that's what we're going to do.
Awesome. Okay, let's get to the questions.
All right. So here we go. There are 3 questions that we're going to ask. And again, we're going to reveal them at the end. So here's the first question. The combined, okay, here we go. We just got to do this. So the combined ages of Rick, myself, and Greg is 98 years.
Ooh, that makes us sound old.
How old is each of us? If we have a combined age of 98 years, how old is each of us?
I'm very curious to see those answers.
I'm 24. I'll just go ahead and say that. So it's between these guys.
Greg is 50.
That's right. So that's the first question. Write that down. What's the combined age, or not? The combined age is 98. How old does that make each of us? So question number 2 is this. What is the price of Team Greene's newest listing in Rexburg, Idaho? Get online, figure it out, go on our website. But what is the newest listing and the price of it here in Rexburg? Question 3. During your lifetime, really?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I get to write these questions.
All right. Question number 3. During your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill how many swimming pools? Oh, can you imagine? How much saliva will you produce in a lifetime to fill how many swimming pools? That's amazing to me. So now at the end of the podcast, we will reveal the correct answers to these questions, but we want to hear what you have to say.
Awesome. And I was not texting just now. I was typing those questions into the comments of this video. So those who are latecomers, those people who don't show up right at the 3:00 start, they can be able to have a chance at this as well. So we're playing for either pizza or gift cards.
I want to know the saliva thing.
Yeah.
How many swimming pools?
Yes, swimming pools.
Swimming pools of spit. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, well, guys, we are very excited to introduce our guest today, Mr. Bob Canning. Bob has a great background. He's been in a lot of different, adventures in your life. Yeah. Are you originally from California?
Yep.
Okay, originally from California, now lives here in Rexburg, Idaho. And so here's just a little bit of a background on Bob Canning. He started in retail where he stocked nuts and bolts at his father's True Value hardware store.
I like hardware stores.
Oh, yeah.
They're good. Okay.
And he's been in the service business for over 30 years. So here's a few businesses that Bob's been involved with. He was the founder and former owner of a nationwide notary signing company.
Important,
awesome.
Important in our business.
Entrepreneur and founder of 3 professional service companies.
Mm-hmm.
Experienced, this is very true. Well, not that he's lying on any of these, but he's a very experienced internet marketing professional.
That is true.
That I can testify to.
Very good.
And now a member of the National Association of Realtors, real estate agent with Team Greene Real Estate. And we are very excited to have Bob. So I'm going to be passing. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed a couple. Here we go. Human factors specialist at a large software company and customer relations at several companies.
Yeah.
So Bob today is going to teach us some interesting, would you call it psychology? What would you
Yeah, it's basically psychology of how to work with people and how to understand who you are, understand who they are, and make things work as you communicate.
Great. Okay. So I'm just going to turn my mic over to Bob. I'm going to go cuddle with Travis. And Bob, we're grateful to have you. Take it away.
That's right.
So what I wanted to start out with is I wanted to talk about childhood. And not sure if you guys experienced this, but as a child, I went through many years believing that everyone was just like me. They thought like me. They liked the same foods that I liked. Mm-hmm. But over time, I started to figure out, hey, wait a minute. There's different people with different ways of thinking and different ways of communicating and different preferences and how they run their life. And so what I want to talk about today is we're going to talk about, first of all, the 3 types of communication.
Great.
Then we're going to talk about something called DEX.
Okay. That one I'm really excited for.
DEX.
This DEX is really cool, guys. Right. You'll want to pay attention to that.
And then we're also going to help you be able to figure out where people are at on the DEX scale.
Okay.
By the handshakes.
Awesome. Okay.
So the first thing we want to talk about is we want to talk about people's communication styles. And there's 3 of them. Most people are either auditory, kinesthetic, or visual. So
visual.
Okay, so Travis,
I'm definitely visual.
Why do you say you're a visual?
Oh, I'm the guy that Christmas morning when the kids unwrap their stuff and it requires assembly, I look at the box and I put it together that way.
Okay.
Instructions are too long. We just look at the picture and make it happen.
Okay, that's good. It's really good to know what you are, because if you're a visual type of communicator and you're working with someone that's an auditory communicator and you do not use auditory signals, they will not feel comfortable with you. And when you're selling a home or when you're working with a client in any business, how you communicate with them, the style of communication will either make them more comfortable or less comfortable with you.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, what do you think you are? Are you an auditory learner or are you a...
I'm definitely visual as well.
You're a visual.
Yeah, I'm definitely a visual. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, that 100%. Makes sense, because where do you spend most of your time? You spend most of your time in the visual world.
Yep, I do. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Your
Social
language
media.
that you use, everything about what you do is visual. Right. Now, there's some people like my son, he is not visual at all. He's kinesthetic. If he's not doing something, then he doesn't learn it. Mm-hmm. And so knowing where the people are that you're working with are in that style will help you. If you have somebody who's an auditory learner and you're sitting there going like this to them and
just has no effect.
There's like a total disconnect.
But I've actually noticed that. I've been talking to clients before, and I am I'll use my hands a lot and in explaining things. And I'll say, when you look up here at this thing over here, or when you notice that over there, I notice when I'm talking, they're watching my hands and where my hands go. They're not watching or listening to what I'm saying. Their eyeballs are watching where my hands go every time.
That's totally true. Totally true. So if when you're out there and you're trying to put this all together, you want to write down the letters VAK. So visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
We're writing that down right now.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you need to know who you are, and you need to know who the other person is, so that you can kind of adjust your style of communication to fit them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because really, it's not a one size fits all thing with communication by any means.
It's not.
If we want to be able to relate to the most amount of clients, we're going to have to adapt ourselves.
Right. And there's a lot of people out there who have never left the schoolyard mentality of everyone's like me. And then the people who have, sometimes they get frustrated because they haven't been able to figure out how to put a label on each one, know who they are, and know how they can communicate with the other person. Right? Which leads right into the next thing that we want to talk about. And this is called DEX. DEX is understanding that we are not all alike, and that if we can figure out what a person's predominant personality type is, we have the power to help them think through things better and to make decisions better and develop relationships better. Okay. So if you're out there and you got a pencil and paper, you want to write down the letters DECS. DECS. And we're going to go over quickly what each one of these is. So the D stands for dominant driver. That's dominant driver. Okay. The E stands for ego expressive. Ego expressive.
Is that, do you think, where most real estate agents would fall into?
No, actually. Okay.
Just curious.
The beauty of real estate is, as long as you know what your personality type is and you're able to adapt, you can be a great real estate agent. Okay. But you have to be willing to adapt. Right. So the next one is complacent, amiable. So the C is complacent, amiable. And then the last one is stable, analytical. Stable, analytical. And so what we want to do right now is we just want to talk about each one of those personality types.
Okay.
And we want to, as we go through the conversation, we want to make sure that we remember that all of these personality traits, they're all good. There's no one bad. I had someone once tell me, well, isn't it bad to have a big ego? And it's like, no, it's just a personality trait. And as long as you, as a realtor or as a person that's making friends with people, understand what an ego is, you can adjust your communication style to make them feel more comfortable. When you make them feel more comfortable, things go better.
So being that chameleon, if you will, of personality traits, understanding them so that when you approach them, when you're communicating with them, when you're there with them, they feel at ease. You bring them to peace quickly. They trust you quickly. Exactly. Things just go a lot smoother if you understand how they operate.
Exactly.
That's great.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about a dominant driver. A dominant driver, you're looking at one. I'm a dominant driver. A dominant driver, they base a lot of their decision making and their actions on authority and tasks.
Okay.
So the dominant is going to be authoritarian, and then the driver is going to be task oriented. So if you go up to a driving personality and you say, I need to get such and such done, go take care of it. They're going to look at you and they're going to go, what do you mean? Okay, so that's the job. What do you want me to do? And then eventually they're going to say, can you give me some checklist tasks? Mm-hmm. Right? Because they're not comfortable with just saying, hey, here it is, go for it. Right? They want to have tasks.
So they're going to be the very detail oriented type.
Yes.
You can't just give them an idea and they go with it. They need the tasks to get it done.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I tend to be very task oriented when I do a website and I do search engine optimization. I'm very systematic in how I do things. I have my tasks. I go through them each day and I do my follow up to make sure everything's there. So it's really, really important that if you come up with a client who's a dominant driver, you need to make sure that in that conversation that you're having with them, that you use task-based things. For example, well, okay, on your list of desired traits in this home, what are they and what are they not? let's go through this list and let's check them off. What do you like? What do you not like? Right? Now we're going to move on to a couple other personality traits that if you do that, they're going to look at you and they're going to say, no, thanks. I'm not really interested in doing that. Right? Okay. Right. So dominant driver to now authoritarian, the dominant, they're the kind of person that they're the decision maker. They have to have all the facts. And then with the facts, they make decisions. So if you have a husband and wife that are looking at a home and you're having this conversation with the wife about how beautiful the lilies are out in the yard and what could be done to that house. And you try to sell the house to her. And then you have a husband who comes in, he's authoritarian, and she's already decided to buy the house. And the authoritarian husband comes in and says, no, we don't know enough. We need to have way more information.
We've worked with a few of those.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about talking to a dominant driver and then switching and talking to a different personality trait. So the husband, if he's a dominant driver, you're going to talk about facts. You're going to talk faster. You're going to speak from a position of authority. Mm-hmm. But when you turn to the wife, who might be a complacent, amiable, or an amiable, stable, then you're going to turn to her and you're going to talk to her totally different. And while you're talking to her, don't worry about him. He'll say, oh, no big deal. He's talking to her, right? And you use her language in order to understand or in order to help her feel comfortable with the deal as well.
So when she's standing in the kitchen and you're talking about the window and being able to see the kids from the kitchen window at the back, exactly, in the backyard and this and that and all the workspace she's got to work with and this and that, the husband walks in. The husband walks in and the first thing you're going to do is take him to the garage. And you're going to talk about the shelves and the storage and all the great things. And you're going to get on both their personality levels, assuming that's what those are.
Right. Exactly.
But whatever that is, you're going to speak differently to them, one over the other.
Exactly. Okay? So if he's a dominant driver, we're going to go into the garage and we're going to talk about power tools.
Yeah.
Because the word power, right? Power tools.
Yeah.
If he's a driver, we're going to talk about tasks that are involved in getting into this house and what steps have to be taken and how we're going to inform you each step along the way. This is how we do it. And this is how it will roll out. And, okay.
All right.
So that's a dominant driver. An ego express is completely different. Okay. So an ego personality, they're the kind of person that when they shake your hand, they look at you and they say, I don't trust anyone that doesn't look me right in the eye. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a very different personality than
Greg's helping us here.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Greg. It's very different personality than a dominant driver or maybe a complacent, amiable person. Ego personality, they love to have feedback and they like it in the form of recognition. Okay. So a dominant driver, they need feedback too, but they don't live for it. An ego expressive, they thrive on that kind of thing.
They're the ones that are going to want to be complimented and be recognized for their things that they've accomplished or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. If you have a company awards night,
they'll be the ones.
And
if we do Dundies,
the plaque, right? The dominant driver says, "I don't really care about the plaque. Let me go check my bank account." Right? Okay. That's just the way it is.
Well, if my wife's watching, she's probably jumping through the ceiling right now. She loves going to the wedding reception. She loves to go to the parties and the dinners and the activities. And I'm thinking, can I go change the oil in the truck?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just a difference in personality. Not wrong, just different.
Totally makes sense.
So
now expressive is going to be just a little bit different from an ego. An expressive, they're going to be wanting to share their feelings. Right. So with an expressive, you're not going to talk fast and you're not going to talk about facts. You're going to talk about how lovely the tree is in the backyard when it blossoms, right?
Okay.
Or, it's all about expression and feelings and things like that, right? So it's very different. Let's talk about complacent for a second.
Okay. Complacent,
amiable.
Complacent, amiable.
So,
okay.
Complacent, that's my hardest one to work with, to adjust, because I like to talk fast.
Okay.
I like to talk about facts. I like to be a dominant driver, right? Well, complacent is like the antithesis of a dominant driver. They do not want to be high pressure. They don't want to talk fast. They're a complacent, amiable. You would take them into a house, say, "Hey, have a look around. I'm just going to be right here for a few minutes. Just go explore. And then when you're done, let's sit down at this table right here over a hot cup of cocoa and let's talk about it."
Excellent.
Really low pressure, very friendly, very happy, very different than an ego expressive or a dominant driver.
Okay.
Now, the last one is stable analytical.
Stable analytical. Okay.
So I'm a little stable analytical too, because I like the analytical part. Stable analytical, they're the best way to describe it as stable analytical would be an accountant.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
An accountant, they don't like change. They like things the way they are. They like them stable. They don't like to have variation in a lot of things. They like to have systems.
Okay. Yeah.
A stable analytical, if you go to shake their hand, which we're going to talk about in a second, a stable analytical is the hit and run, right? So you move in with a handshake and they hit your hand and they're out as fast as they can, right? They're not touchy-feely at all, right? They just want to have that contact and then they're done, right? Okay. And we've all met all of these different personalities.
Yeah, they exist everywhere. Sure.
Okay. So now the key here is all of these personality traits make up who we are. Okay. The only difference is Travis may be on the driving spectrum, where Greg may be on the stable analytical spectrum. And all these different people are going to have all these different places on the spectrum. Okay. So we're a little bit of each of them. But what we want to do when we work with people is we want to find their most predominant characteristic and their least predominant. Because you want to know what you want to do and you want to know what you definitely don't want to do. Right?
That makes sense.
Okay. So if you know yourself, then it's easier to adjust yourself to what they are. Okay.
Got it.
So that's Dex, the basics of Dex.
Great.
It's a lot more detailed than that. And we're going to, if we have extra time, we'll have a little fun with that. But let's move on to the actual handshakes.
7 minutes.
Let's move on to the actual handshakes. Okay. So we talked about a dominant driver.
Okay.
What would you expect a dominant driver's handshake to be like?
Well, in our area, we have a lot of farmers with strong hands. I'm guessing they're going to crush your hand and let you know who's boss.
Okay, that's exactly right. A dominant driver, when you go in to shake hands, the dominant driver is going to be on top, right? And they're going to shake firm, and they're going to pull you in a little close. They're just going to
let you know that you're in their zone and you're in their territory.
That's exactly right.
All right.
Now, if you're a dominant driver and a dominant driver shakes your hand, what do you do?
Run.
No,
Run.
Dominant drivers love dominant drivers, right? But be just a little bit less, right? So if somebody comes in and shakes your hand and they go like this, just kind of bring it into the middle a little bit, but let them be on top still. Right?
Okay.
That's a dominant driver.
Kind of reciprocating
that's right.
The idea. Okay. Great.
So that's dominant driver. Now let's talk about ego expressive.
All right.
Ego expressive is the fun one. Okay. Ego expressive is the one that when they shake your hand, they are all over the place. They're like the high five. How's it going, brother? Pound it. They're very animated.
I didn't just see that.
Yeah. See, and a dominant driver actually a ego expressive actually could make you a little bit uncomfortable if they got too touchy-feely, right?
Yeah, I know people. I've done that. Hey, man, how's it going? And all of a sudden I feel like I'm just getting slammed and spun around and everything else. I'm just thinking, dude, I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So
it took 5 minutes. It's like a 5-minute handshake.
Yeah, they actually, have a ceremony they go through sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Another ego expressive, right?
Right.
So now there's another handshake that's more towards the ego, and that one would be the ego. Like I said earlier, they'll shake hands, they'll pull you in, they'll shake really hard, and they'll look you right in the eye. It's like, I don't trust anyone that doesn't look me right in the eyes. Right? Okay. So that's an ego. And you're going to deal with the ego just a little different than you do with the expressive.
Okay.
So the next one is the complacent amiable.
All right.
Okay? Now, the only way I can describe this one is it's the limp fish handshake.
Limp fish handshake. Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's when you go in and you shake and it's like, you're like,
it makes you feel highly uncomfortable to shake someone's hand like that.
Exactly.
It's like they've lost every muscle in their hand.
Yes. Especially for
if it's
an
a man.
expressive. See, an expressive's definitely going to feel really uncomfortable with that. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the last one.
Okay. Stable analytical. Yep.
Stable analytical. Like I said before, they're kind of like the accountant. They're kind of the hit and run handshake.
Okay.
So that one, you're just going to go like that and they're going to pull away. It's like, it's maybe get 2 shakes in there as quick as you can and they're done.
All right.
They're out of here.
Okay.
So why is this important? Okay.
We work with so many different people and so many walks of life and everything. You got to adapt.
Yeah. You got to adapt. So, So basically, if you can learn what your personality is and you can do a handshake, which is the very first thing. It's the only reason I hate working online for leads. Is I can't shake their hand.
Right. True.
Right? The sooner you can shake someone's hand, the sooner you can see where they're at in this list.
Yep.
And the sooner you can adjust your communication style to them.
Okay.
Keeping in mind the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Now, how are we doing on time, you guys?
Perfect.
We're good?
2 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Real quick, guys, if you have not put your answers on Facebook yet for our combined ages, how old Travis, myself, and Greg are, that's question number 1. Question number 2 is something else besides that. Oh, man. Question number 2 is, what is the price of Team Greene's newest listing in Rexburg? And question 3 was, during your lifetime, you'll produce enough saliva to fill how many swimming pools? Okay. We got 2 minutes to get those answers in, guys. So try and do that. And we'll be revealing those answers here in just a minute. Bob, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
So I want to add one thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to go over these really quick. We have 5 revealing questions that will help you figure out who they are in the deck system. Okay. I'm just going to read them to you real quick.
Great.
First one is, where do you live? A stable analytical, they're going to go, they're going to say very specific, 536 Maple Street. They're going to say, they've been done, right? Ego expressive, what are they going to do? They're going to go, oh, well, if you go down the street till you get to the lilac plant, right? And then you turn left. And if there's a little boy on the swing, wait, because there's a bus that's going to be coming, right? So that's the ego, that's expressive, okay? So amiable, complacent. What do you think that one would be?
Oh, gosh.
Where do you live?
Let me look it up on Google.
Amiable, complacent is going to be like, Idaho. And I'm like, okay, where in Idaho?
East Idaho.
What's a dominant driver going to do? How are they going to answer that question?
I actually don't know. I'm curious. They're
going to say, why do you want to know?
Okay. Yes, that's very good. Here's what dominant driver will often say. I live in plus the beautiful estates of nobody else can live here but us. Right? Yeah, they'll answer in an exclusive neighborhood or something like that, rather than an address, right? Because
that is so annoying.
That matters, right? So the other questions are: how long have you lived there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you do for a living? Do you like what you do for a living? And how long have you worked there? Those 5 questions, and we could put those online for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put
those
these online.
5 questions will allow you to narrow down where someone is at in the deck system.
Okay.
I think that's awesome. This is something Bob taught to our office about a month or so ago, I think, or maybe a little bit longer than that. And it's amazing how this becomes ingrained in your mind. And every time you go to shake, I think I shake more people's hands now than ever. And I carry more hand sanitizer in my truck more than ever. But anyway, it's amazing because it's so true that, it's so revealing these different personality types just based on their handshake. And then just like he taught, we gear our conversation that way. So it's a very true method. We've been using it, tried, true, tested. We believe it's awesome. It's really cool. We love it. So, anything else, Travis, from you before we go ahead and wrap this up?
Nope, I think we're good. I appreciate that. That's good information in any walk of life, whether you're selling real estate or working in the retail world or just going to a family function or anything. These traits or these understandings of personality traits, I think, are very, very helpful in no matter what you do. It just is a better way to communicate. If you understand the other person, communication goes better. So I think it's great.
Awesome. Okay. Well, it is time to reveal the answers to our trivia questions. Looks like nobody got them right. but that's okay. I think the first person to post the correct answers that we tell you right now, I think we'll go ahead and order you lunch tomorrow or get you a $10 Amazon gift card. We want to award somebody. We don't do these to never award people. So anyway, okay. So our combined ages are 98, and Travis is 44 years old. I am 31, and Greg is 23, but in 19 days or something like that, he'll be 24.
Nice.
Okay. So those are our ages.
18 days.
18 days. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You guys are all getting old.
Let's not talk about that, Greg.
Okay. Our newest listing in Rexburg is listed at 256,400, I believe. Is that correct? Okay. 256,400. And then according to the internet, which we all know to be true.
Yes.
They claim that in your lifetime, you will fill 2 swimming pools. They don't say what size, though, but 2 swimming pools worth of saliva during your lifetime. So those are the answers we were looking for. The last one we could probably throw out because it's probably very, very, subjective to other sources. So anyway, well, thank you very much to Bob Canning for being on the podcast with us today. Excellent information. And Real Estate Hustlers, we are going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. If you have any suggestions for future content, please put them in the comments below if you're on our Facebook live stream. Also, if you like our show and you're listening on iTunes or in Google or any other place that we have it, make sure to hit that subscribe button when it hits iTunes. And this is going to help us grow our audience and to help more real estate agents across the globe. So let's all work together to do that. We will be back next week again at 3 p.m. On our Facebook live stream. And we are very excited for next week's podcast. We're not going to reveal what it is yet, but we are very excited about it. So stay tuned next week, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And again, we express our gratitude to Bob for taking the time to come in and teach us all about the DEX system. And guys, your break is over. Time to get back to work. Get out there and hustle. We'll see you next week, 3 o'clock p.m. Take care, guys. All right.
There we go.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Wait a minute. Thank you very much.